right, Alice. I was conflicted when bringing in Kirk Minihane because, one, he's got better things to do, and he does. And two, he's a good guy. And three, I always wonder, like, do I just kiss his ass and wait for us to get great results, at least immediately? Or do we just talk to him? And so I think today we're just going to talk to him for the time he has. This is a busy guy, but a good guy. Kirk, thanks for joining us.
What's going on? Alice, how drunk is he? Like, I can't deal with drunk people because I saw the pictures. Like, if you're drunk, like, We have been like coughing it up for about 6 hours now. I saw you. Yeah. I just can't.
We had Bloody Marys this morning, but we're not.
My life's too short. I just can't.
No. So, hey, I want to ask you something. Did you see Portnoy on with Rogan?
I listened to some of it. I thought it was pretty dreadful overall, if I'm going to be honest. I was pretty bored during it. I just find Rogan, I mean, look, he's the biggest podcaster ever. I found him to be a terrific bore. He just does nothing for me.
Well, he's not a personality. He's just curious. And so that's why, like, he does well, I think, is that he'll talk to somebody and pull.
Well, it was also, sorry, Tom, but he was also, like, there's always a big advantage. If Joe Rogan started a podcast 3 weeks ago, it would not be a big podcast. Like, it would be big and he's a celebrity. He was also one of the first to the game. And in the podcasting world, there's a massive advantage if you've been doing it for 10, 12 years. And you're famous as opposed to not.
That said, Kirk, I did start Boston Herald Radio in 2013. And
it
failed to take flight to the point that I was hoping it would.
That is true.
But no, I don't think that's true what you say. I think that he pulls out of people, like interesting people, feel comfortable. Because he's non-judgmental, so they'll give their best, like Eric Weinstein and Peterson, etc. Will get on there and feel free to expand and open. Because Rogan,
I don't even know who those people are.
Well, you know Jordan Peterson, you must.
Yes, I know that name. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. So, I don't know who Eric Weinstein is. Is that one of the? Is that
it's like a COVID person.
No, there's.
That the doctor who Jerry always says is like a hero. Is it that guy?
The one who invented mRNA. That one? No, not really.
I liked your episode with Jerry because and this is what Jerry always says: good, healthy disagreement. And boy, was there a lot of it. Jesus Christ!
I don't even know what was. Oh, that was about the football player though.
No, but it was mostly about trans kids actually.
Oh yeah, that was not even.
It was trying to be about the football player, but we got a little tiny bit off
pounding
topic.
the 30 button like Marvin Hagler versus Thomas Mann in 1985. Everybody and by the way, now that we're at it, why don't you guys go on more rap? You guys were telling the same stories on different Kirk Minihane wrap-up shows. It was like
dickhead. What am I supposed to change the story? Kirk, they're asking me.
You can say no once in a while.
Questions about that other girl who sat in
last week.
Kirk,
during vacation.
They're asking me other questions about the other girl. Am I supposed to change the freaking story because I know that the Eye of Sauron, freaking Minihane, the master Taliban, Kirk Minihane, is watching me? What am I supposed to say? What's the right answer?
Okay. Anyway, you could say no to the second or third request. Like I wanted to say no last week to this show. You could say no. No, it's a word.
Why?
No.
Why would I say no? You've been on both of those shows. Menace is a talented broadcaster.
I've not been on Montante's show. I don't believe I have.
Supposed to be.
He was supposed to be on, but then Montante wanted to drink in Kirk's studio.
That's right. He wants to come in here when he sees you to come into our place.
He's asked to come to our house to do a show here. But we're a Michael Montante family. We like it.
Fantastic. Oh, great. Well, anyway, but yeah, I actually bailed on because I mean it's just like I knew most of the Dave stories anyway, and like it was fine. I don't know. I just find I find there are very specific podcasts I listen to. I listen to podcasts about old music charts.
Yeah.
About movies. About old books, and that's really about it. Like you are not going to find, there is nothing I care about less on God's green earth. Boston Children's Hospital could literally be ripping the breasts off of children and shoving them down their throats. And I care way more about what is going on in the PGA Tour. Way more. And Bob Murchison, by the way, hates me more than Jerry Callahan. I know it's because I'm more relevant. But Jesus Christ, I mean, Jerry's doing everything but waving his dick in Murchison's face at this point. I mean, leave me alone and go after Jerry, please. For Christ's sakes. I mean, there's the advertisers, but still do something. God.
But I don't think I'm sorry, Kirk. I don't think that's true. I think that you say you don't like politics, etc.
I don't like politics.
Right. In the conversations around politics, like the conversations the Five would have, etc. I don't blame you
I don't
because I'm
watch that, yeah.
disgusted by it too. I'm like, holy Christ! I would just rather talk about life things that people do. Like there was this dad in Connecticut who he went to a smoothie shop and asked for a smoothie without nuts because his son was allergic, and they gave him one. The girls were like dumb, like teenagers. They gave him one, and it had nuts. And his kid went into shock and went into the emergency room.
Oh, jeez.
He came back to the store and had a tirade, and they just recorded him, of course. Then he threw a smoothie at the girls and like went nuts, and he got arrested and whatever. It's like that kind of thing that has to do with human emotion, etc. I would talk about that all day.
Is your oldest a teenager or no?
She's 12 now.
Okay, close. Teenagers. My daughter Kate is the greatest kid on earth. Greatest kid on earth. She gets straight A's, really smart. But teenagers are so dumb. Like it's amazing. Even smart ones are dumb. The other day, it was a while ago actually, but we have the slot that you can put the mail through in our house, and it was just me and Kate, and Harry was there too. I think my son. And the mail goes through the slot, and Kate is standing by there, getting ready to go inside. The mail goes on the ground, and Kate looks at it. She just goes, "Mail." And I'm like, "Yeah, you could pick that up, you know."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh yeah, I guess I probably could do that." And then I'm just like, "What? Was I that dumb as a teenager? Probably, I guess. I don't know. Who the hell knows?"
Well, no. We've just bought our daughter a cell phone, which was it was my doing. She was supposed to be when she got to be 14.
I was pushing for 14.
Right,
yes,
but now
I
she's like
was
all her friends have it, I'm sure.
Right, and I want to be able to, have her be the point person if she's watching people or whatever. And so we got our cell phone.
Also, she vanishes to her friend's house for like 10 hours.
And says, "Well, I don't have a phone. You could get a hold of me if I had a phone." She's like manipulating whatever. And so for the first time ever last week, I said, Sally. And she said, "What?" Like with like an asshole.
Get ready.
Yeah. And it was like, wow, that's all it took was just
so
that.
Weird. Her mom doesn't even have a vocal fry, but yet she does. So what are the odds? What are the odds?
But it is like it is odd. Actually, that's a good point to start with. Like,
well, thanks. Tom.
You have a daughter. I have a daughter, and Alice and I have been talking about like the effect of pornography on kids. Like, who's the porn person you had on, Kirk?
Brandy Love.
Brandy Love. Okay. And and Brandy Love has been like tossed out of churches, whatever, for being who she is. And Alice, of course, is all for that. And you're
That's not what I said.
well, I mean, this is what I like intended to talk about when we first were pitching Kirk, and I knew that he would reluctantly probably come on because I know that he's like a free spirit. He's all for you're for do whatever you want, and Alice is against it because she's moral. Yeah. But that said, it's like porn, like the normalized sex that is in porn now, and I only know this from seeing Alice look at porn, is it's not like it was, Kirk, in 1991. Porn now starts and ends with humiliation and
I think there's still good old-fashioned romantic pornography if you look for it. But I would say, like, the way I did it and the way you did it, I'd earn it. I had to earn my male orgasm back then. Like, it was work. Like, whether it was a magazine or, you paused Beverly D'Angelo in the shower on vacation.
Exactly.
My VCR was literally, like burnt out. I couldn't use it anymore. Or, like, the magazines I used to get, like some guys would give me, like, 50 plus. It was women over the age of 50 or 60 plus. These women now, by the way, keep in mind now, these women are like in their late 90s. Some of these women, they're still alive. They're like walking around like in some senior home.
Right.
But I think there is something to the but like I don't know, like do you think that there weren't like sickos and like what did
okay, so
here's my question. Let me just ask this question. You guys can go. Like what did John Tyler masturbate to?
I assume the Sears and Roebuck.
but like when he closed his eyes, was he ever like, geez, I wonder maybe if this woman had a stepdaughter and the stepdaughter needed to learn how to give a blowjob? Like, was it just all created by pornography in this world? I don't know.
But Kirk, it's different because in this I have a good perspective on this because you probably haven't heard, but Alice is younger than I am.
Yes.
And when you and I were 22 years old and we had girlfriends, asking a girlfriend, first of all, for anything that was like Lewinsky was like bomb diffuse. You were walking in a minefield. You better do it the right way and with full respect. There was no and you better get your paws off her. There's no if it happened, it happened. But well, if you look at like normalized pornography now, it starts and ends with humiliation. It's the kind of stuff where if I requested that in 1994 from my girlfriend, she would have castrated me on the spot.
It's escapism. I mean, it's not like when I entered it, I don't believe I'm going to a real space. Like I don't think that's how the world works.
Yeah, I know, but Kirk, you're...
Well, yeah, but you encountered that a little bit older.
I love these conservatives who want less and less government, less and less stuff, unless it's pornography or two fucking guys getting married. And they want everything shut down. Like, what are we going to do? Shut down pornography?
Well, I think there's something. So Brandy Love's been in the news lately because she's been talking about this Louisiana law that basically the state of Louisiana said that if you're showing porn on the internet, that you have to essentially like check IDs, like you are if you're selling minors alcohol. Right. That you have to make sure that the people you're showing the porn to aren't children, which I think is like really a low bar to have for porn. It's like we just won't show it to kids. Like I think that's
impossible to govern, but maybe, yeah. I mean, I'm fine with that. Like, yeah, I don't want Harry looking at that right now. So sure.
And I have a different perspective because, like Tom said, like I am in a slightly different generation. So by the time I was not much older than my daughter, I'd seen stuff that my parents like didn't know existed on the earth, like that anybody did. And I do think that my generation is like mostly completely broken brained for like relationships and sexuality because we've just all been ruined because our entire like sexual ethic is based on like completely insane stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, look, maybe, but I'll say this, like, when I saw the Pamela Anderson, Tommy Lee tape, right? Like my parents did not see a tape of Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton. I mean, this is how it works. Like this is just what happens with technology. Like I don't think there's really any way to stop it. What are you gonna like? I'm not sure. Like you're gonna have them like certain porn scenes or that already exist. You want like outlawed or something? Like what's going to happen?
I want them outlawed, but I don't want kids seeing them. And like, I mean, I know
kids are
impossible.
Going to see them.
Kids
are
going to
ask you something,
like they
Kirk.
used to find magazines, but I don't want kids able to just like straight. There should be like some kind of barrier, a little bit. Like kids are going to get alcohol too, but we still check IDs at the liquor store. We're not just like they're going to get it. Oh, I'll just sell to whoever. Like I
definitely agree with you on that. That for sure. I just don't know. I mean, if it could be governed, great. It just seems like I mean, I don't know. My kids are so much more savvy than I am with these things that I have with phones, and I have no idea. But you're right. Look, if you could do it and do it well, yeah, sure. What were you going to say, Tom?
I'm just saying that, like, if you look at in New Orleans, in Mardi Gras, it's trained cultural behavior now that if you're a woman, and actually I say now, I mean 20 years ago when I would have been down there, but if you're a woman, then it is polite society's expectation that you'll revere your breasts. If somebody throws beads, if men throw beads, you owe them a look at your breasts. And I forgot those series of tapes where they came out, where all the girls are like,
Girls Gone Wild,
Girls Gone Wild, etc. There was obviously trained cultural behavior that girls knew that if there were a camera around, well, then if you're in the bikini in the like havasu, then you go to town. And
I think that was also problematic because I do think a lot of those girls, maybe I'm wrong, but I think a lot of those girls were hammered and being recorded. Right?
Oh, definitely.
I think that was part of the. And meanwhile, this is coming from a guy, Alice, who texts my producer 3 or 4 times a week about like various females and what they look like.
I know.
Well, right, but Paige Biernack is, first of all, what a fucking Dave.
You said is getting fat.
She's getting fat. Yes, she is.
He says that about Paige Biernack. I said, how dare she get fat? Can you believe this guy? He's going around calling beautiful models
she
fat.
Can be a
can you
hot,
imagine?
No, the point is this, and I've talked to her in an interview, and she follows me. So she can either be a hot bad golfer or a fat person, and now she's mostly a fat person, and so that's why I was.
Well, I'm sorry that she hurt you by becoming fat.
She's not a fat person.
She's not thin anymore. She was
never. Well, anyway, go ahead.
The fact is that
brainwashing and
the fact is that the porn that Alice usually watches, she goes to YouPorn or whatever. She goes to, and it begins and ends with the girl being subjugated and humiliated, and so I'm just.
Well, but like in what way? Like, what are you saying? Like a man like ejaculates on her face? Or
I would
something?
say that's correct.
What happens in the world? Like,
what?
I don't know. It's illegal, consensual. This is like a scene in a porn film. Like, I don't know what you want. Like, if you say to me, "Hey, I don't want 13-year-olds to watch that," great. But if you're saying to me, "Hey, I don't want 23-year-olds to watch that," well, we can't do that.
I mean, I think it's still bad for you. Like, I'm not trying to outlaw it for adults, but I think it's like cigarettes, where it's like it's
You're definitely not
just
going to die from
legitimate.
it.
But that's Jesus. That's so intellectually lazy, Kirk. You remind me of VB or Nemesis. It's like it happens in the world, so nothing I can do. For Christ's sakes, the idea is to push against what happens in the world.
Equal footing.
Hey, you know what happens in the world too? You know what happens in the world too?
What's that?
Is that like in Lexington and Winchester? Is the football team lugheads? Date rape the girls too? That just happens in the world.
That's. You see, Tom, that's illegal. Now, on the other hand, a 23-year-old guy going on and watching another paid performer, have a consensual scene being filmed. I have zero problem with that. None. Forget you think it's. What I'm saying is that should not be stopped. That should in fact be allowed. Of course, it's illegal. What are we doing here? You don't want tell people not to do pornography? I don't even understand.
It's not the pornography. Is it?
That's what it is. That's exactly what it is. What's the line? You tell me what the line is. What you want is the Alice Shattuck and Tom Shattuck burn barrel porn site where some guy with his socks on goes missionary style with another girl and ejaculates her, tells her he loves her, they get on their knees and pray for 20 minutes. Great. There's a market for that somewhere. I have no doubt.
Okay, that's fine. But the Overton window, whatever it's Overton window of allowable sex at one time was leaning towards what Harvey Weinstein did. It was okay that you had the casting couch. It was okay.
Well, now it's not, and now it's not.
But it's not because culture pushes back against it. It doesn't always just say, "Oh, that's just him." He's just kind of rapey.
Against the law, Tom. He was raping people.
But there's a gray area there that made rapey behavior okay.
Well, if there's a gray area with Harvey Weinstein, then I guess you and I disagree because he raped women. I don't know. That to me is more dangerous than friggin' Brandy Love giving some guy a blowjob.
Kirk, did you have friends at Winchester High School who were guys who were kind of rapey, who would always push it?
No,
I sure as hell did.
Were rapey, to my knowledge. I shouldn't say that, right? To my knowledge, I don't think so.
There was one time there was a party, and I think it was with your grade, which was class of 93, supposedly. I'm never sure because you change it a lot. Don't bring it up. Don't bring it up. He's
okay.
But we had a furlough. That's good.
In one of you, in one of the sisters of a high schooler. At a party on your side of town, which I wasn't invited to, obviously, because it's a rich person's party. Right. But we pulled up in our crappy little freaking Dodge Aries K, and a girl from the party came into our car, and she was a beautiful blonde Winchester girl, very typical swan, and the sister of a football player.
Okay.
And she got in the car. She was obviously plastered and took all of her clothes off. All of her clothes off, which for me meant the first single gorgeous woman I had ever seen. Ever. And
what does that have to do with where are we? I don't know.
Well, let me tell you where we are. Sorry. Because she started making out with somebody, and somebody was pawing her, and I said, we can't have this. We can't have her in here. We can't do this. Even though she was gorgeous, even though it was like the epitome of every fantasy I'd ever had, and I said, we can't do this. She's out of her mind, and whatever. And majority by a thin margin won. And we said, you need to go and get dressed, please, and go in your house. And her brother still wanted to kill us, even though we did not do anything.
What year is that Kevin Cullen calling from that you're reading right now?
No, but anyway, what I'm saying is we did the right thing by a tiny margin, because a couple of people said this ain't cool, that we could destroy this person.
I got you.
Even though we could get away with it. But I'm just worried that now.
Well, why would you're thinking now because these guys have seen pornography? Like guys were jerking off back. Like I don't.
Well,
know.
I know that, but now you're expected the salutation sexually is so much more extreme than it used to be.
Well, look, the world has changed, but I think there is some. I
just think people's minds are different. Like it affects your brain in a different way, and like how you see and interact with people and all this stuff, or like. I don't know, like Dave's about my age, right?
Portnoy?
Cullinane.
Oh, Cullinane.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. And like he's going around like insecure with like penis dysphoria about his penis size, telling people he's like got a micro penis because he says he's seen all the ones in porn are bigger. Like that's not healthy either.
Well, I'll say this.
Don't you think he would be happier if he didn't? That wasn't his whole sexual experience. As a young person.
A legitimately blockbuster box office movie in the 70s. I'm dead serious. Like couples went to see it. Mm-hmm. Deep Throat. Like it was a wild. Like moms and dads were going to the theater to watch an X-rated film. That wouldn't happen today, right?
Yeah, I mean, think you're probably right. I mean, the 70s.
Why have we gone backwards that way? Like in some ways we've gone backward though, right? Or no?
Well, I think it was the accumulation of recreational sex after the pill came out that people said, F away, and so there we go.
Right, but I'm saying like it's things. It kind of changed. I mean, I don't know. Like so, like right when I was younger, I would use like a penthouse form. I'm guessing kids would never do that today. So, but like I don't know. Does that mean that I'm less likely or more likely, or they're more likely or less likely? I don't know, but I do. The one thing I think we definitely agree on is if there's a way to govern this, so a 14-year-old kid, can't watch, a double penetration scene. I think we can all get aboard on that one. I think.
Okay, let me move to Portnoy for a second because it was interesting. Kirk, is that you're right. For most of that podcast, it was terrible. Dave was Portnoy was nervous. I think that you got two dudes. Portnoy's also, he's kind of like calling in a way, except for he's a doer and achiever. But he was, yes. I think Portnoy's got a lizard brain and didn't know how to react with Rogan right there. But it was very funny because you can tell that the level of the intellect, because as you say, Dave, Kirk, Dave is the smartest dumb person, This was not William F. Buckley and going back
Vidal? No?
Right, no, not quite. Here's a little cut from it.
I interviewed Trump.
No, hold on a second. Damn it! Oh, here we go.
What's that word? Schadenfreude.
Schadenfreude.
There you go. That's about
right.
That's about the level that it was. But then
$100 million right there.
Yep. But then, because they both can't help but find the interesting stuff because they're real lizard brains, they found the interesting stuff. Here's a example.
I interviewed Trump. They called me up.
Yeah.
And they want our crowd, obviously, to do it. So this is when he was president.
Right.
Probably I got a lot of hate from it, but he pulled me in. And when he realized I wasn't out to get him, he opened up and he was nice to me, but he pulled me into this had a little souvenir room is what I would call it, with artifacts. He goes, Dave, come in here. And so I go into the little room, he looks at me and goes, this is the Monica Lewinsky room. He just started laughing.
The Monica Lewinsky room.
So it obviously was nothing near a souvenir room, but that's the point is that Portnoy gets interesting content, and
of course,
and that's I think with your show, why you have so many people who freaking love you, and why Alice and I only binge watch your show. We don't binge watch anything else. It's pathetic, and she openly loves Mike Geary.
She
does. She's makes little happy moments when he's on. It's that are very disquieting to me because it's all natural what she's happening.
Of course,
but
he's a very funny guy.
But I mean, so many, the entire WEI lineup now is people who are trying to not do that, not to have any real moments, and I don't understand. Maybe I'm asking the wrong guy because your show is all real and you thrive off real, even if it hurts everybody involved. What the freak satisfaction can you get doing a show where nothing happens, when you talk about somebody's freaking on base?
I don't know. You started with Dave and Rogan, then you went to my show and Mike, and then you went to EI. So are you asking me to answer about EI?
I mean, I'm asking you to answer because you worked among those people while being
some of them outlier. So not really many left, but yeah. I mean, I think the thing I think about EI now is what I always said. Once I left was eventually they were going to land at the place where they didn't pay anybody any money. And they would never get in any trouble ever, and they have guaranteed that now. And that's just the trade-off they've made, and that's what they want to do. And they'll finish 4th or 5th, and once in a while, when the Patriots carry them for 3 months, they'll finish 2nd, and they'll finish 5th and 6th, and maybe make a little profit or lose a little bit of money, and then they'll have to lay off some more people. And they just didn't want to deal with what our old show, mostly me. The rating's great, but trouble more, and they just said, forget it. Yep. And now if you listen to it, they have a show in the afternoon now. It may change. They have a young woman, Megan Ottolini, and Christian Arcand. Mm-hmm. And it's the worst. It sounds like if my old cross-country drives, when before there was even Sirius, and I would be in Albuquerque, 80 miles north and 14:20 a.m. and it's just two people talking about nothing and just like you could tell their goal is to get to the next commercial break, get the show done, and then the next day we'll have our 3 guests on, we'll have our topic, and then once during the show, because it's scripted out and the producer's gonna do it, we're gonna be wacky. We're gonna have our wacky segment where we're real people, and then we're done for the day. The show's done. It doesn't roll over to the next day. We go home. Nobody, you don't walk out. You're not worried about the program director calling you or the Globe or the Herald or your boss or the guy who owns the company. David Field is never going to call Megan Donnellini and say, don't do this or don't do that. But also, David Field's never going to call Megan Donnellini and say, hey, here's a 4-year, $6 million contract. That's not going to happen either. So that's the trade-off they've made. And, as you know, Tom, Odyssey is a terrific company. They're rolling.
Absolutely.
Right
robust stock price. And
what I just don't understand, though, is like, I don't think people know what the point of what they're doing is. Like, they think that the point of radio is literally just to have voices making noise for set amounts of time in between, and like there's no other, they just want to fill those blocks with people's mouths moving, and like there's nothing else there. Like,
I'll say this, Alice, like, take me away, and I guess Jerry and John to some extent, but not most of the time. Take me out of EEI back then. It was Dale and Holly and Glenn Ordway and Lou Merlone and Mike Manansky at night. I'm not going to lie to you. It wasn't that much different. The difference, they were better at being boring, but the difference is I was there. Like, if you listen to my show now, the guy you hear was on a morning sports talk radio show doing the same thing. It was wild. It lasted as long as it did, honestly, because it was as crazy as the show you listen to now. That's the difference. Dale Arnold is just as boring as Rich Keefe. It's that honestly, this is an ego thing. I came in there, like John and Jerry were getting stale. The ratings were lousy. I came in, I revitalized it. Jerry got rid of John, stabbed him in the back. Then Jerry and I took over, and it was wild for a couple of years. And they were like, you know what? We don't want this Murchison stuff. We don't want, I fought with Marty Walsh. I fought with Charlie Baker. I fought with the Globe. I fought with the Herald. I fought with Stephen A. Smith. I fought with Tom Brady. And they were like, why are we dealing with this lunatic for, 13, 14 shares? We can get 5 or 6 shares and make, half the money and not pay people as much. So I mean, I understand that. It's worse radio, but I do understand it.
But that's then, okay, so that's radio programming driven by sales, saying, okay, we can get this many weight loss ads out of Dale, and this hair loss ad out of Holly, and this whatever, and we'll make our margin, and that's what it, et cetera. But there's, at some point, don't you, as somebody who laid himself in the line, weren't you like, why isn't anybody else sweating here? Why isn't, like, here's one, and this is, I know I'm not allowed to compare myself to you whatsoever, but when I was Michael Graham's producer, we would do as hard a show as possible, and we were never not working on the show, on bits, on drop, on show content, whatever, never not. But we would have, and a lot of these were old Entercom people, we would have them every lunch, they'd meet up together, 30 people, and walk over to the Boston Globe building and slowly have a long meal lunch together and come back. And we were like, are we the only 2 people who have a sense of urgency in this effing building? It was... Yeah. But
I'm sure. I have no doubt. And that's
they weren't in the radio business. They were in the going to lunch business. It was unbelievable.
Right. Salespeople have 80% of their stuff done before the year starts, and that's their life. And that's radio. And you're right. And that's one of the things about what I get to do now. I can work as much as I want or as little as I want. Whether it's the true crime stuff or the show itself, it doesn't stop. It will stop. This show, the KMS show, will stop.
There's no way this show is going to stop. There's no way you're.
This show,
Kirk, you don't stop working. You keep making projects for yourself.
I'm not saying I'm going to stop working with the case and other stuff, but I can promise you, I swear on the life of my children, the Kirk Minihane show will stop when I turn 50 years old. That is not even an argument.
That's a tough thing, man, because 50 comes quickly, and you're like 50, and you're going to live for some years.
50 right today, right?
I know.
50, today's my birthday. That's right.
Yes, great.
Yeah, but Kirk, how are you going to suddenly stop doing all the crap you're doing? You never stop doing stuff.
I'm going to write. I'm going to do. I've heard my voice enough. I've weighed in on enough stuff. I don't. I like doing it now. I'm having a great time with the show now, and I want to end when the show I think is still really good, and I think in a year and a half I hope it'll still be really good. And then that'll be it. Well, I'll do other stuff, and other people can do their thing. Life will go on. This is what it is. It'll be what, 5 years at Barstool, like 12 or 13 years of doing. I'm good. I'm good.
You've got already built in with your own universe, your own Barstool. Like, why not just have somebody, a Harvard Business School graduate, come in and make a network out of your own thing without you having to do anything else?
Because I don't want to do the show at that point. I'm good. Like I think nobody believes me. I totally understand that because I get that. But like, that's a long way away. Like, I don't know. That feels like it's enough. I feel like at that point it'll be enough.
Yeah, but you never seem to get enough. I mean, you do shows when you're not supposed to do shows. You were going away 3 years ago. You were going to go away for a long time. I don't know how long it's going to be. We'll see you all later. And I stopped listening because I thought, oh, he's going away for a month or whatever to figure stuff out. And you were back 2 days later.
Yeah, that was over a year ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's different now. Like I would not do that now. And I do 3 shows a week now. I don't do 5 shows a week. I don't do 4 shows a week. I'm contractually obligated to do 3. I do 3. So, like I am perfectly comfortable. I think that's plenty. October 31st, 2024 will definitely be the last KMS show. I'm not saying I'm going to retire. I'm not going to do true crime stuff. I'm not going to do other stuff. I'm not going to do other investigative stuff or even other little series. But like, I mean, how long can I sitting here looking at Mike and Dave and at that point it'll be good. It's plenty.
Yeah, but it's not as if the show is static.
Tom, it's good. Tom, it's going to be over.
Like, no, it's not going to be over.
It's
not going to be over.
There'll be hundreds of thousands
Have you
of hours.
considered the fact that Tom really would like you to keep doing the show? Have you taken that into account?
That's the only reason why I stopped it. That's it. That's why
the problem is this. Here's your problem: is that the show is better and better. In Mike, I mean, Gary
it's not a problem for me. I don't care. Why care?
Well, why wouldn't you have the best
But
podcast?
at that point, it's only going to get worse. So, like 8 years from now, I'll be an old guy. The show will stink. Mike will be gone, and Gabe will be gone. I'll be there with some idiot producer, and I'll be what I used to make fun of. And like, I never want to get to that point. I feel it sometimes, and I'm like, oh, I do not want to be like, I'm not comparing myself to Stern, but like the way Stern is, or the way like old guys where they're out of touch, but like aren't acknowledging that they're out of touch. Like one of the beauties of as I'm getting older now is like I'm able to like laugh and be like, oh yeah, I don't.
Yeah, but Kirk, you're not a radio guy. You do a show. You're not a radio guy. You don't have a stupid radio voice. You don't do.
It is a radio show though. It is ultimately at its core a radio show. It's the best radio show in America, but it happens to be on a podcast. You could move this show to a radio station, just get rid of the swears, and it would absolutely murder.
All right.
Syndicated as a radio show. Murder.
Before we let you go, Kirk, I have in light of Jon Stewart's passing.
Mm-hmm.
Who, by the way, I didn't really know at all, but he and Alice were communicating, and he was just a really, really selflessly considerate guy too, which is just an awesome guy. But taking from your show on people who should die rather than people who shouldn't die, I have a small list of people I just would like your 2 cents on, and I think we're going to see eye to eye on most of these. People who should be dead. My first one has already died, Corey Haim.
Well, what did you have against Corey Haim?
He was a total a-hole at a time of decadence and disgusting both fashion, style, and culture in the late 80s. He was a total a-hole and just a POS, and he was omnipresent when we needed him not to be.
Here's why I guess I'm just more bent to sympathy than you.
Okay.
I find that child actors are absolutely fucked from day one. Like he never basically ever had a chance. Never. Child actors have become assholes. I have more sympathy for than others. I think because they're
agreed, Kirk. I agree.
Both
so
Corey
much child abuse in Hollywood.
I don't care
Yeah.
Corey Haim and Tom Shattuck were both 16 in 1989, and one was swimming in Hot Ladies, and one was alone in the basement in Winchester.
That's a stupid.
No, it's not.
It's a dumb comparison.
All the kids who grow up in Hollywood are so damaged.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Give me
You don't
that.
agree with this?
I don't care. I think it's
doesn't have a ton of sympathy for children who go through abuse like that. He's not very sympathetic about it. I can tell you.
He was tortured by his dentist. I mean, anyway, go ahead.
Okay, Corey Feldman. Can we agree on him?
No, it's the same thing. No, I know. Quite the opposite.
God.
Quite the opposite. I don't agree.
You've seen his music acts, right?
Yeah, he said, by the way, that he was molested. Like, what does that mean?
Jesus. It's like so. Okay,
I'm telling you, he doesn't. Tom does not have strong feelings on that topic. Like
he's got to get out.
I do. That's an issue that I'm passionate about. Really enjoying this season of the case, by the way, Kirk too.
Thank you.
On that topic, it's really well done and well handled. But yeah, Tom does not really care about that issue.
Leave, please? Not you, Kirk. Okay, how about this? Noel and Liam Gallagher.
These are living people you want dead.
In the name of God, Kirk, you torch everybody, and now
I don't
I
really-
didn't
I
really
don't-
approve this
it's like
segment.
I don't really have anything like against them. Like they music kind of stinks, but I don't.
Yes,
really,
I
like,
would say that's true.
But like, I thought you would name like Minifans. I'm like, for
You've
them,
been-
line
you've
them
been-
up. But I don't. Liam Gallagher and Corey Feldman. Who gives a shit? I think we tried to get Corey Feldman on at one point. I think. Go ahead.
You say that you've been, holistically helped by music by certain people, as if it's a force for good.
I'm not a music shamer though. Maybe you are. I'm not I don't know, Alice. What's your favorite? Well, it's probably like Skillet or some Christian band or something. But who's your favorite band, Alice?
No, I listen to like Taylor Swift and the
Okay,
Killers,
like,
and
yeah, like-
I mean, I listen to like pop music. Yeah,
Right, like I have
Beatles,
no
and-
like my kids like crazy YouTube. Like I don't. If somebody likes Rush or The Who, then fine. I don't know. No, what do you want me to say?
Can we talk about, by the way, kids liking music? How good kids' music is now? I mean, how good music is?
I don't find it to be good, but yet I'm not supposed to find it to be good.
Are you familiar with Ricky Montgomery, Kirk?
I'm embarrassed to say I've not had the pleasure.
Your
of listening.
daughter probably knows who he is. Maybe your son does too. Listen to this.
I don't really give a damn about the way you touch me when we're alone. You can.
It's like it's a crooning country. It's
A little Sinatra kind of thing going on.
It's
there.
wonderful. Imagine that we had Bananarama, for God's sakes. They've got
No. We had great music. Stop it.
there was a lot of crap out there. A lot of crap.
Tom just is still bitter because
you-
he wasn't cool in high school, and he
That
doesn't-
is true.
So he's
Yeah.
mad at all the
That is
music
true.
that all the popular kids listened to back then. He's still angry.
Yeah. Who is the girl who you hooked up with? Whose younger brother you were friends with again?
Who are we talking about?
To you, Kirk, in school.
I hooked up with what?
You hooked up with this girl. You were friends with her younger brother, and she took her shirt off.
Oh, I'm not telling that story. No.
She
First
is
of all,
a-
again, Tom, you
she-
have no sympathy. That is an inaccurate portrayal.
Yeah.
Alice, you may not know this story. I was in 4th grade. This
Uh-huh.
girl showed me her shirt. It was my Me Too story. We didn't hook up. I was horrified.
And she
Yeah.
was the blonde
That's
sister.
terrible
No,
when
I
you're
think
a
I got
kid.
to beat on who this
No,
is.
this
And
isn't
she
the
was-
girl you pretended to save in some car once. This is not a blonde-haired girl. This is just some random
I
person.
know who this is, I think.
No, you actually
hot.
don't.
She's hot.
You actually do not.
There's the word
Tom
sex in her
doesn't. Tom
last
thinks
name.
like teachers sleeping
No, it
with
is not.
teenage
No, it
boys
is
is totally fine and cool. Like
Yeah, yeah.
Tony
because
went
I'm-
through that. But yeah, there's no. You've got this is back in my Vincent Owen days. I was young. I didn't know what the hell was going on.
Yeah, I'm sure it was awful. Jesus, can you imagine?
This is unbelievable.
So listen to this. Have you heard the Dua Lipa song, Levitating?
yeah,
This is a song that kids like now. The song is incredible.
If you wanna run away with me, I know a galaxy and
find this song or something. It's a
he's
massive
just
song.
learning about songs.
Well, me and my daughter just put all the songs on when we drove down to see people, whatever. And so I'm like seeing all these songs. It's fantastic.
Uh-huh.
Dua Lipa is fantastic. She's 27, by the way. So that's
Anybody else you want to tell me about? Like
Yes.
Kendrick Lamar or Taylor Swift?
Sia?
He has a Bruno Mars. He has a Bruno Mars song lined up. He just found out.
I mean, how perfect is that? It's brilliant.
Yeah, I just feel like here's the thing for me to emotionally connect with a musician. I need to be in their age range.
You
Like,
do.
or they have to be older than me. Yeah.
Tom
Like, I don't-
connects very easily with younger women, I think.
That's pretty interesting. Or guys, I guess, but which is fine. But I don't. Can I mention? Is this live right now?
Yes,
or is
it's
it-
live.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, forget it. I'm going to mention on my show tonight.
Yeah.
I actually have a copy of the Boston Globe in my hand right now. I'm going to talk about the story in the Globe on tonight's show. I don't know if did you read that? You probably didn't read the story or not today. Yvonne Abraham's profile of Maura Healey and her girlfriend.
Oh Jesus, no.
Crazy. Look, I legitimately like great. Like I you know me, I don't care if she's gay, straight, whatever. But like she met this woman while she was her boss. Maura Healey was her boss.
Yes.
10 years younger. She left her husband and her family or whatever and is living now with Maura Healey. And they're acting, Yvonne Abraham's acting like it's the greatest thing in the world. And I'm like, well, if this is a 55-year-old like conservative guy who married his former younger underling and she left her family, the Globe would write like it's the biggest scandal of all time. They write about like it's the greatest romance we've ever seen in the history of the
Yeah,
world.
didn't that happen too with wasn't there an actress on Orange is the New Black who like left her husband for a woman who was like one of the writers on the show or something?
Oh, is that right? Yeah, I mean,
I forget
whatever.
exactly what it was, but I remember reading the story and thinking like, wait, like how this isn't
But
like
but
as
Maura
positive
Healey
as
is-
it's being
right, Maura
portrayed.
Healey's is-
Like I don't.
Maura Healey's this woman's boss, like at the time.
Right.
Like this, I don't know. Who knows? Anyway,
She
Who
is.
else-
We've had her. We had her into for editorial meetings, etc. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Tom loves her because she's a
she's-
woman and she had to talk
Kirk.
to him.
She's a cutie. I'm a charmer.
Maura Healey?
Oh, totally. She is hot. She's my age, by the way. She's a. Oh yeah, she's a cutie. I'm sorry. I absolve her of everything. I'm fairly.
Comments, but she's great.
By the way, but I look forward to it. I mean, no doubt. I mean, this is obviously this double standard. Some people.
I probably won't do it now.
Okay, the
Like, I'm probably
he's
not
gonna.
gonna.
I was afraid of that after I appeared on your show, Kirk. That you'd quit your show after that. I thought, freak. Imagine my life is avoiding people, changing my name because I was the last interview on Kirk Minahane's show.
No, I like when both of you were on. Alice was on once, and Tom, you were on.
Not a
It
good
was
fit.
good.
Alice isn't a good fit. I told you she wasn't. And
I
she
thought.
wasn't.
Well, here's you might be up against it, but when you went on these multiple shows and you were like, we had that girl Julie on,
Yeah.
and you were like, I wanted Kirk to be like, get tough. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I didn't even understand what your criticism was. I didn't get it.
Well, because she got on because she left a message that was a tough guy, or she was on the phone as a tough
Sent
guy.
an email.
So I thought that, oh man, here we
What am I
go.
supposed to say? Like, get tough? Like, oh, she was fine.
Well, she
And
was
I,
fine.
treat, and I treat women differently than men when they're on
Yeah,
the show. That's a
I
fact.
understand
I
that,
mean, I don't know.
but there were expectations. As it turned out, she was like really likable and seemed like one of the guys, and she's like a better fit than Alice is because Alice.
I thought Alice was fine. I thought she was good. I think you're jealous that Alice was on the show.
That is
I
true.
think
That
that's
is true. As a
accurate.
matter of fact,
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
thought
like-
that
like, you know,
when Dave
Alice-
dropped the ball this week, and Dave said, "Oh, can you join us before the case this Sunday?" I thought he meant to come down to Watertown for the show, and I said, "Alice, I think they want to be coming on the show." And Alice, we were like in a fight because Alice
Well,
was
Tom's
jealous.
greatest fear is that I would ever be asked back on
Which is
KMS
why the only
and
reason
not
I-
him.
which
That's
is-
like his.
It's definitely going to happen again. Then,
Well,
for
no,
sure.
she's not a good fit. But that's what he would do with
I
the
thought she was-
second.
you think Alice was good in the show? I thought she was very good in the show.
Or it's not a good fit. But so
Why is that?
okay, Puck from the real world. Can you at least admit that he should be dead? At
His real name
least, Kirk.
his real name is Dave Rainey.
Is it really?
Yes, I believe that's right.
Yes. Okay. Would the world be a better place if he had died in 1994?
Let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
Maybe, but then, yeah, but like, how's he do? Like, is he like matured? Is he changed? I don't know the answer to that question.
You are the
I
most
don't
like emotionally healthy, unhealthy, emotionally person I've ever
I
talked
have a
to.
lot of work about Puck Rainey from 30
I
years
hate
ago.
him.
I don't-
I hate him. He started the trend of rewarding bad behavior. He was terrible for this culture.
See, I get worked up about stuff that goes on nowadays. Like for the other day, yesterday, whenever it was, I got really irrationally angry that the ESPN broadcasters turned the E upside down for the 3 that be a tribute to that Bills player. I'm like, that's so like pandering. Stuff like that makes me nuts. Like, how does that help him? Does he feel better? It's so fucking stupid.
Everybody on every side of that story of that guy is
Oh.
terrible. It's terrible. That's why I don't want to like talk like.
Did you
anything-
see he was like tweeting the
Oh,
game
by the way,
today?
I got a note from my program director, Kirk. You'll be you'll understand this. Saying, by the way, so when I started talking about that football player, we're not going to make a correlation between him and the vaccine. Just so you know, it's like, oh,
Well, I wouldn't tell anybody. I would never tell somebody not to talk about something, but thank God, because there's no topic that's dumber than that.
oh, I agree, but like,
But Tom's
wouldn't-
callers love that
I agree, Kirk. But
topic.
wouldn't it be nice?
Oh, I'm sure it's
Wouldn't it be
canon for them,
nice?
yeah.
And I have a great program director right now, but wouldn't it be nice if every time a program director like took away a topic, they gave you something to replace it
Well,
with?
they'd give you a top. If you asked her for topics, she'd give you stuff to talk about. But
Yeah.
it
No,
would
listen
be
to-
like,
no, listen to
what's your
this idiot.
favorite
Do you know?
breakfast cereal?
Yeah, you don't mean listen to this moron. I can't imagine. I mean, like I say all the
she's
time, we'd come
wonderful.
in, we would do a 14 rating. The other shows would do 6s, 5s, and Joe Zarbano or Kevin Graham would ever come in and be like, maybe if you talked a little bit more about the game, maybe you do a 15 or 16.
Oh my God!
I'd say, well, the
Oh,
other
my
shows
God.
talked about all they do is talk about the games, and they did. Why don't you go talk to them? And eventually, I said, don't until you talk to them, just don't speak to me. And then eventually, it was just don't speak to me. And that's part of the reason, I suppose, why I'm gone. But yeah, that would drive me nuts. I would go on the air right away and be like, just so you know, I'd like to talk about the vaccine. My program director said we can't talk about it.
Right. And
Yeah,
that's
and
why
then-
people have loyalty to you, because you're willing to put yourself out there and get beat on for it. Okay, Dennis Rodman. Come on, for God's sakes. I mean,
What is the question? Do I want him to be dead?
yes, you want him dead.
No, not really. I'm not,
Okay.
No.
The Gin
What am I
Blossoms.
saying? Well, who?
The Gin Blossoms.
I have no reaction one way or another toward the Gin. I told you I'm not a music hater. I don't like them, but I don't like. I want the drummer of the Gin Blossoms
Okay.
to be dead.
Okay, let me find. Okay. Sophia Franklin. Kirk, now this is a woman who's made her money off of totally sexuality. Totally sexuality. If you look at her
You on
image,
Dave or
It's so
no?
fucking random.
She is so.
There's no purpose to this.
This is so
No,
dumb.
it's not random at all. She
He
is
has to
no.
follow through with every
No,
aspect.
I mean, am I wrong?
Is this your flack rapping me? Is that what's happening?
Dave, am I supposed to say like, "Hey, I want
No.
somebody dead"?
But can you at least admit that she's a terrible and vile human being?
I don't know. Based on what?
She's based on her own. It's all
Well
self.
said. I guess so. Now that you put it that way, yeah,
No,
sure. Well
it's
said.
it's
Very
all
well put,
vain.
yeah.
It's vanity and it's self-absorption with her physical
Welcome to
visage.
2023,
which
stupid. That's the
I
whole
understand
world.
that, but so she treats people less than only because her physical visage. In 20 years, that's all gone, and then she's going to claim to be a
20 years, I
victim.
think she might look pretty good. I don't
No,
know,
she's
maybe
not
50
going to look pretty good.
Maybe
Okay,
50 years.
this band featuring a poser man pretending to be blue
Boy,
collar.
Alice, he's just going to go all the way through. Huh? It doesn't matter.
This band pretending to be featuring a poser man pretending to be blue collar, who was also a weak facsimile of Bob Dylan and Bob Seger.
No.
Featured a vacuous saxophonist who filled time in mediocre songs until he expired in 2011.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Well, I mean, again, like if you don't like Bruce Springsteen, I have no issue with that. He means everything to me. He means nothing to you. That's great. I mean, what music do you like?
I appreciate the Beatles, certainly. And,
Okay, so you don't like it. So you don't really like anything.
I don't.
You
I
say
think
like
Bruce.
that.
I just think Bruce is hack. I mean,
Okay, well, great. What am I supposed to do? Yell at you? So you think Bruce Springsteen's a hack? Great.
Well,
Okay. He's the greatest. To me, he's the greatest musician of all time.
How about
So-
how about he just makes the song about the USA a positive song about the USA?
Why?
Why does it
Well,
have
he was
to
right
be?
about the plight of the
Born in the
Vietnam
USA
veteran.
would be the goddamn national anthem now if he really meant it, rather than bitch
He doesn't
about
want it
Vietnam
that
where
way.
he didn't
But
fight.
But that's not how he felt. And and that's not how a lot of
Because he's a
veterans-
selfish a-hole. He should have given the
Why?
song over to the country rather than bitch
Why?
about the guys who fought where he didn't fight.
You mean like a great artist, a great songwriter like Lee Greenwood? Is that what you want him to be like? I mean, like, what are
No.
we fucking talking about here?
No, but he has a
Look,
song called Born in
I
the
will
USA.
say, in the great, he's about to go on a world tour. It's going to make $1 billion. He just sold his catalog for $700 million. So right now, I'm not ready to declare the winner in this Tom Shattuck Bruce Springsteen feud just yet.
Mm-hmm.
But I think some point next year or two, we're going to come to a winner in this one. I do feel that way.
So let me tell you, before we go, the best Bruce song is actually a throwaway song. But it's literal because he didn't try to or have the time to change it into it. It's girls in their summer clothes.
It's a great song.
That's his best song, and it's literal.
It's
It's
not his
literally
best song.
about
It's a
girls in their
wonderful
summer
song.
clothes, and there's nothing more beautiful and perfect than that.
It's a great song.
There's no pretense. It wasn't
Of course,
about
it was called Women in Their Summer Clothes. You wouldn't like it as much. That is true. But it's a terrific sort of Beach Boys ish kind of song. You're right.
It's a gorgeous song, and there's no pretense about it. Okay,
Hey, Dave, we booked Alice yet for coming back in? Or
Alice is not
booked it, but
bad fit.
we're about to.
Bad
Let's
fit.
do that. Let's do that for
Bad
sure.
fit. Alice, so I'm out of dead people questions. I was going to throw Carabas in there, but
I don't have any.
Jared Carabas, the man.
I don't have a
Jared
list of people
Carabas.
that I want dead. So I wasn't
Jared
prepared for that
Carabas.
segment. I apologize.
Carabas is my brother. He's a great
Carabas,
guy.
who's trash from Saugus,
You would
who's like
Tom,
acts like a badass,
Tom,
who has
Tom,
more
Tom,
ink
you're a
than
fucking-
Jared
you were
Remy, who
born-
actually killed people.
Your mom probably shit you out in the bathroom of Bill and Bob's, and you're calling Jared Carabas.
so
First
lucky.
baby of Winchester Hospital, 1973.
That is correct. Beat out Michelle Ty, by the way.
Who was your? Did you have? Who was the doctor who was your doctor who?
Kingsley, I think. Dr. Anino
No.
was another one. Do you remember Anino?
That's
Did
your
you have him?
pediatrician.
Doctor?
Mine was O'Grady.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Winchester Hospital. Same.
Yeah. It was. It was
Well, I was the first person. I think the night that I got. That was in 1973, but I think I was the first person. The night I checked into to try and kill myself that night at Winchester Hospital. I think in 2018. So I have that going as well.
Oh yeah, I got another first in '89. I was the first person to get a. Do you remember when they came into Winchester and said it's zero tolerance when George H.W. Bush said no more, no drugs, no nothing, and they said zero tolerance. There'll be no more house
Ronald
parties.
Reagan? Or was that okay? It was
George
I thought it was
H.W.
gonna be
Bush.
taxes with George Bush.
So we
Okay.
had my brother threw a huge party, and actually Peter French and Dean McLaren were both there. A huge party, and the cops came and arrested us, and I was case number 1 of that year. for this. It was great. I was famous for a day. I came into school the next day, and like girls were hugging me because they cuffed me in front of people, and that was yeah.
I would say the biggest day in Winchester history for me was when Domino's came to Winchester. It was like a bomb went off, and everybody in my life, we were like, you can call, and the pizza will come to your house in like 20. It was an amazing couple.
Yeah.
That one's still there, by the way.
Yeah, well, yeah, I remember a bunch of kids. Do you remember Wheels who worked there? Chris Wheeler?
Oh, yes. Yes, I do. I didn't know him like I knew Keith McLaren, but yeah. Have you, by the way, backed off this stupid Dean McLaren thing or no? Are you still doing this dumb act?
I just saw Keith last night, and once again, it's like it's a weird thing that you have, but Keith doesn't know you. I don't know what that was about.
I knew Dean. I didn't say.
But you were in Dean's class. By the way, I have a trivia question for you.
Is Keith still functionally illiterate or no? Like the rest of the McLaren family?
I don't know what any of that means. I have I have a trivia question for you.
Oh, great.
Name the connection here?
Yeah.
My cat, Sylvester, and Kirk Minihane.
Are you sure this is a trivia question?
Yes, this is.
That seems very specific, Tom. I don't know.
My
the
cat
answer
Sylvester and Kirk Minihane. I'll give you a hint. It takes place, I think, in around 1981. Could be 1980.
Your cat Sylvester. 1981?
Mm-hmm.
It was in Bill Ricca in 1981. I don't know. What is it?
Okay. My cat Sylvester, it got out of the house, ran down the street, was killed by a husky owned by Dick Malcolm.
Oh, is that right? Oh, how is that a connection?
Father of Timmy Malcolm, friend of Kirk Minihane.
Tim Malcolm, by the way, graduated with Dean, not with me. Same thing. Same class. Same. Look it up in the yearbook. Same thing.
Yeah.
By the way, Dick Malcolm was the dad. Tim Malcolm's the kid.
Dick Malcolm was the dad. That's right. Exactly.
Yeah, Dick had the jewelry store.
Yes, he did.
Yes.
He had a lot going on as a matter of
Nice guy.
Yeah, he was a nice guy, unless you're Mrs. Malcolm, I think. I don't know. I think that.
Oh yeah. Oh no, I don't know anything about that.
I don't know anything about that either.
Anyway,
it was a
great.
busy time. All right, Kirk, Alice, do you have
He's
anything for Mr. Minihane?
I think we've taken enough of Kirk's evening with.
Yeah, the show's starting in about 5 minutes.
Insane.
Okay.
Shattuck things.
Kirk, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right, Shaddocks.
Well, he is doing that more than ever. I think it's kind of his calling card. All right,
you guys
Kirk.
don't listen to that. You guys don't listen to that show every day. No way.
So the only thing I tell you, man, we love your show. You do an awesome job. I appreciate it. I know this is a pain in the ass for you. You're an awesome
We'll
guy.
see you guys soon. All
Take
right.
care. See you later.
See ya. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, Alice. I feel like I didn't let you say a thing. Is that true?
I said some things. I was okay. Thank you,
You
though.
okay? Are you mad at me?
No. Are you mad?
No, not at all. I just, I as usual, I don't really have any recollection of my interaction with him.
Well, but
I was surprised he didn't want more people dead, to be honest. Okay, should we go to the chat? Or
okay, we can do the chat, and then we can cover a few topics for the people in the Patreon show on the other side, if that's okay. Like news stories type of topics.
Okay, I don't have it up yet. Hold on. Can you can you fill it all?
I could possibly.
Can I get us a couple of seltzers or something? Because I'm parched.
Why don't we pull up the chat messages and do that first?
Why?
Because
you can't fill for a minute and 10 seconds.
Well, I can fill. It's going to take a minute and 10 seconds. Yes. Why don't we just do the show? Why do you have to go get something right now?
Can't work, Alice. I'm out of mouth lubricant.
Why?
Because I'm out of it. I was drinking coffee, dude. I don't know. You can't handle it. How about I'll play Dua Lipa for a little bit? And then
No, it's okay.
Okay,
I'll fill. Don't worry, everybody. I can talk about a topic. The thing I'm most excited about this week is Ron DeSantis taking over this Florida college, the new College of Florida, and he has put a conservative majority on the board of trustees, including people like Chris Rufo, who's against all this like critical race theory stuff, somebody from Hillsdale College, which is a conservative organization, and really trying to start over to take back over some of these educational institutions and create an alternative. He wants them to like focus on the classics and give a real education, which is awesome because everything that is happening, like I've talked about, like you can't actually win this fight by banning critical race theory under the law. You can only win this fight by like actually replacing out the people in the institutions, because critical race theory is an amorphous enough thing that even if it's not like on the curriculum, if you have a bunch of people in the building who believe in it, you're still going to have the problem. Like because they're going to infuse it into every single thing that they do. And that's why this is so dangerous, because they're going to take the normal lessons that they would teach and they're going to fill it up with this worldview that is so toxic and divisive, that completely just is designed to ruin children's brains, to either, set them up to believe that they can't succeed because of their skin color, or to set them up to believe that they're evil and bad if they are successful. That's toxic. It's absolutely success destroying. It goes against everything that we believe in this country to have that kind of worldview. And yet all the people in the schools, top to bottom, it's like near universal in school administrations, the types of people that are there. And so it's so important that conservatives actually start to exist in these institutions. That's one of the reasons why I say, like, we don't need a bunch of conservatives to all be talking heads. Here I say a hypocrite with a podcast where I talk about conservative issues, but we don't need like more conservatives with podcasts and more conservatives running for office, although that stuff is great. But we need like conservative school administrators and conservatives making movies and conservatives, doing normal stuff, building companies, making things. And that's where you're going to have it. But you need the people in the building who don't believe this, or you can pass all the laws you want all day. That's why I think it's so great what Ron DeSantis is doing. Have you followed this story, Tom?
No.
That he's filled up the new College of Florida. He appoints the members to their board of trustees. And he's appointed like people from Hillsdale College and Chris Rufo, who does all the
Rufo.
So yeah, but like what I'm saying
obviously...
is that's so important, because for the exact reason that that basically, you can't, by passing laws, win the critical race theory thing, because the people in the building still all believe it, and they're going to put it into every single thing that they do, right? And then they don't. And then it doesn't matter what laws you have. But so you have to actually have people in there that aren't insane in order. And so that's why I'm so glad that he's actually doing that. Like, and just, check off another box. Ron DeSantis gets it. He does the perfect things all the time. And are you actually ready to play the chat now? Because I feel bad because we're already at an hour and we have to do the chat, and then we have to come back and do another show. And I already used some of my content to do extra time in this.
Oh,
because
my goodness, your
you
content.
had to go get drinks now before the chat.
Is it anybody's birthday?
So you're taking away from the Patreon people.
Is it somebody's birthday?
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry.
Happy birthday, sweetie.
Thank you. And you apologize.
I'm so sorry.
Okay.
I apologize.
I'm a couple days behind, but I had to laugh during the porn conversation. Oh, and every time Alice would talk about how bad porn is, Tom would have to pretend, oh, yes, honey. Oh, it's terrible. Oh, it's corrupting the youth of America. Oh, yes. Yep, never seen that before. Oh, I don't know what you're talking about.
Correct.
Meanwhile, porn is really bad.
In terms like BJs and gangbangs. And that was a good one. I enjoyed it. Good discussion. Happy New Year.
It is true. Alice is much more into that than I am. That is a fact. Fact.
Happy birthday, Tom. I hope
Thank
it's the most super softest birthday ever.
Softest.
And I got a little present for you.
Oh, wow.
Special guest to sing happy birthday to you.
Oh, wow.
Come on. Come out here. All right. Come on. Let's move it. Thank you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
What is her name supposed to be again, Alice? Do you remember?
Happy birthday,
like
Tom.
Roxy and
Happy
Rosalind.
birthday
Rosalind,
to
yes.
you. Got a little present under my mini skirt for
Oh,
you.
my goodness. By the way, I don't. What do we say to Morgan?
Well, I think you have something to say to
Morgan, my goodness. What are you? You have totally... That is unnecessary.
Morgan said Tom a lovely birthday
gorgeous
present,
steaks
yes.
and things and meat products. It's ridiculous. Actually, it made steak and eggs yesterday with some of the sirloin. It's awesome. That is unnecessary. But that bowled me over. I was like, this must be from my uncle or something, because I actually didn't have any note in it. Just so you know. So I was like, What is it? So yeah, that is. I don't know. I don't even have words. That's ridiculous. I guess I think I should probably offer to sleep with him, Alice.
I guess.
Would that bother you?
No, you can. It's fine.
It's a lot of steak.
Okay, you can sleep with
Yes,
Morgan.
well,
that's fine.
consider it done. If you're down, Morgan, I'm down. I don't really know. Well, I don't know women's anatomy either, so it doesn't matter. Okay, but Morgan, thank you. That's ridiculous. I don't even know what to say. Words are not enough, but thank you so much, and I've already started enjoying all the steak. Let's see.
Hey, it's Danny. I wished you a Happy New Year at the end of my last message. It was already way too late to be wishing you a Happy New Year in real time, and I wasn't considering the fact that the message wouldn't be played for a couple more days, so it's a really, really late Happy New Year, and I feel bad about that, so I apologize 1,000 times, Dakota. Also,
wait,
Dakota,
you don't know what that means, do you, Alice?
No.
That's from Dakota and Braintree yelling at Glenn Ordway, and Glenn Ordway is saying, I apologize 1,000 times to you, Dakota. It's old WEI, the big show, the prime time of the big show. Oh, it was so fun back then. Nothing? Okay.
Regarding Paul.
Are you still, are you floating on air because you're still enjoying the moment from your most recent basking?
Yeah, that's what it is.
No, or is it because we just got off with Kirk and now it's weird?
Everything's fine.
Okay, I don't know. I can't take your temperature. I don't know what's going on. Am I in trouble?
You're not in trouble.
Do you love me?
I do love you.
Would you say that the marriage is intact? Because I noticed a picture of us from last night at the party.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to tell you this, but you're really a lot more attractive than I am. A lot more attractive. And have you considered that maybe you should upgrade?
Haven't thought about it, no.
Now, is that healthy to not think about it?
Yeah, I think so. I think our marriage is
really
great.
Attractive.
Thank you.
I get you. You get me.
I know.
That's not
Lucky
fair.
me.
That's not healthy.
Think of the good times.
I have all good times. Okay, forget it.
Paul Salucci and Jane Swift. Paul Salucci's been dead for almost a decade. That's wow.
Did you mention Paul Salucci, Alice?
Jane Swift, unfortunately, is still with us, but good for her.
Jane Swift, you had a couple pounds, but
Happy New Year.
Cutie. Salucci, I went to his victory party at the Black Rose, and his daughter, who was my age then, so I'm not being, was a smoke show. I actually bought my then girlfriend. Am I in trouble?
No.
I bought my then girlfriend.
Just finish the story without asking me every half a sentence.
Well, I don't know when Alice.
You know what? Are you going to keep pausing the car?
I don't know when the guy from NBC
and
is
then
going to
you
suddenly
start a story, and halfway through a sentence, you're like, "Oh, by the way, Alice, am I in trouble?
I don't know
can
when the
I
guy
just
from
go get a
NBC
beer?
is going to suddenly step out from the back and say,
Okay.
Have a seat, please." No, but she was my age, and I actually bought. This is a weird story. I actually bought my then girlfriend, Paul Salucci's daughter's exact outfit at Filene's, because I had a Filene's credit card, and it was a tan, like hip-hugging pants in a black turtleneck, actually. And it was just ridiculously good looking. I don't know what anybody's supposed to do with that, but there you go.
I had a bizarre dream that my mom let Bill Gates into her house, and then I did what Jesus did to the money changers and threw tables and casted him out of my mom's house, calling him a pedophile and stuff. Weird dream. That's what happens when you eat more than 6 Oreos before bed.
Ooh, Oreos. Alice, thoughts on Bill Gates coming to the house?
Yeah, I wouldn't let Bill Gates into my house, probably.
He probably came through the window.
Good one, honey. I like it. Very good. Okay.
God, remember we got Windows 8 on that computer? And it was trying to act like an apple or whatever. Oh, that was awful. Oh, Oreo cookies, that were damn good. damn good. I like you. Well, I don't. Okay, forget it. I'll save it for the Patreon section
save it
later.
for the
I'm gonna get very
Patreon show.
sexual. Is that okay? It's my birthday. I'm 50.
Okay.
I'm old. I'm probably not going to live through the decade.
Okay.
I just want to have some time to talk about you. Okay.
Okay.
Happy birthday, Tom. Hope you had a wonderful day.
Great.
Short, sweet, and to the point. Perfect.
Yeah, great Timmy Can. I mean, a great guy. And do you see the leaderboard, the KMS leaderboard? He's far above us. What were we categorized as? Yeah. We'll take it.
A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you.
You look really old.
What?
And you're going to get buried in our backyard.
It's true. Very exciting.
I'm all for it.
Hello, Bun Barrel.
Hey.
It is I, Adam Schiff,
Hi.
Congressman and Bon Vivant.
Wow.
Wanted to let you know I quite admire your friend Matt Walsh.
Yeah.
I really
That was
enjoy the
Welch.
cut of his jib.
Walsh.
He's a dandy, and he is right about...
Okay, let's get this straight because this bothers him. We talked to Matt Welch. We've also talked to Matt Walsh.
Mm-hmm.
But most recently, that was Matt Welch of Reason.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Walsh
is of the Daily Wire.
Yes, he's different. That's the What is a Woman guy. Just so you know, but just so there's clarification, in case Matt Welch is listening.
Wanted to let you know I quite admire your friend Matt Walsh. I really enjoy the cut of his jib. He's a dandy, and he is right about those mean and stupid Republicans.
Dandy.
He called them out for their lying and scheming ways. As we should all acknowledge, there is no place in government for lying.
So true.
Anyway, big fan of the show and love the Shattocks.
Ooh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We appreciated that. But by the way, thank you for all the kind words as usual. We can.
Thank you so much, everybody. If you are on Patreon, stay there because we will come back on the other side of the music with some more show for you. Thank you to everybody for listening. You can find the Patreon shows and live streams and stuff at patreon.com/burnbarrel. Always for free at burnbarrelpodcast.com is all our content, the places to listen. You can find YouTube. We're on Rumble Video in case we get kicked off YouTube, etc. Love you guys and have a great weekend.
C'est la vie.